Good morning, children. We have already studied about the public sector organization, and public sector organization are of three types. First is departmental undertaking, second is statutory corporation, and the third is government company. Now, first, today we'll study about the departmental undertaking. These are established as department of ministry and are financed, managed and controlled by either central government or state government. So departmental undertaking is established as department of the ministry, like there is a finance ministry, there is a food ministry. So they are established under the or established as a department of the ministry, and departmental undertaking are financed, managed or controlled by either the central government or the state government. Very good example of this is Indian Railway, which comes under the Railway Ministry, Post and Telegraph Department, which comes under the Postal Ministry. Now, what are the features of the departmental undertaking? The first feature of the departmental undertaking is no separate entity. It has no separate legal entity. Departmental undertaking are a major subdivision of the government department, and they are not a separate legal entity. Thus we can say that departmental undertaking are subject to the direct control of the ministry, means they are directly controlled by the ministry which comes under this department. Second is finance. Departmental undertaking is financed by annual budget allocation of the government, and all its earning go to the government treasury. So the money provided to the departmental undertaking is provided in the annual budget, is allocated by the government in the annual budget, and whatever earning of the departmental undertaking is there, that goes into the government treasury. Now the third is accounting and audits. The government rules relating to audit and accounting are applicable to it. So the departmental undertaking are subject to accounting and audit controls applicable to the other government activities. So regular auditing and accounting of these companies are done by the government. Now fourth one is staffing. Staffing means about the employees. Its employees are government employees and are recruited and appointed as per the government rules. So all the employees of the departmental undertaking are government employees and are recruited, that is placed on the job, and appointed by the government as per the government rules and regulations. The staff of the departmental undertaking are basically the government servants, and they are headed by the civil servants and Indian Administrative Service, that is IAS officers. They are recruited and compensated as per the rules of civil services and are transferable from one ministry to another. Now the last feature of departmental undertaking is accountability. These are accountable to the concerned ministry. So the departmental undertaking is accountable to the respected ministry, and their management is directly under the concerned ministry. Now, what are the merits of the departmental undertaking? The first merit of the departmental undertaking is it is more effective in achieving the objectives laid down by the government as it is under the direct control of the government. So this is directly controlled by the government, and whatever objective of the government is there, that objective of the government is fulfilled through this departmental undertakings. Second feature is it is a source of government income and its revenues goes to the government treasury. So whatever revenue of the government departmental undertaking is there is deposited in the treasury of the government. So these undertakings, basically departmental undertaking, help in increasing the government revenue. Now the third merit is it is accountable to Parliament for all its actions, which ensures proper utilization of funds. So this departmental undertaking is accountable to Parliament. So for all its actions, whatever action is there, whatever activities is done in the departmental undertaking is accountable to the Parliament, and this Parliament ensures the proper utilization of the funds. And the last merit is it is suitable for activities where secrecy and strict control is required by defense production. So wherever the requirement is of the national security is concerned, then this departmental undertaking is the best way or best form of organization, because secrecy and strict control can be applied through the departmental undertakings. Now what are the demerits of the departmental undertaking? First is it suffers from interference from minister and top officials in the working. So there is always interference of the ministers. There is always inflexibility in doing the business. There is always pressure from the top officials. As a result, the managers cannot take the decision freely. Now second demerit is it lacks flexibility, which is essential for smooth operation of the business. So because of this interference and inflexibility, the bureaucrats are conservative and they are also cautious. Therefore, they are unable to take advantage of the various business opportunities which come while running the business. Now the third one is it suffers from red tapeism in day-to-day work. Red tapeism basically means there are numbers of rules and regulations and lengthy channel of operation of the departmental undertaking which cause delay in decision making, and consequently urgent matters suffer. This is basically called the red tapeism. So this leads to red tapeism and the bureaucracy, which is the biggest demerit of this organization. Now the fourth demerit is these organizations are usually insensitive to consumer needs and do not provide goods and adequate services to them. Departmental undertaking are usually insensitive to consumer needs. They do not bother about the consumer needs, and they do not provide the goods and also the better services to the consumers. And the last demerit is such organizations are managed by civil servants and government officials, as I have said you, who may not be the necessary expertise and experience in the management. So since the civil servants and the government officials, they are not so much expertise, they have not done the management courses, they may not be experienced also, so they are not able to take good decision, and this is the biggest demerit of the departmental undertakings. Now the last is where it is suitable, where the government, first is where full government control is needed. So in the organizations where full government control is needed, departmental undertaking is the best way of running the organization. Second is where secrecy is very important, such as defense. So where the government secrecy is very important, there the government forms the departmental undertaking and run the business. Today only this much. Thank you.